Beloved friends, we have waited patiently for more than 30 of your years for the time when we can bring the Stargate and those who are deeply connected to it. This place of many mysteries, this place which is actually a holder of Atlantean knowledge and wisdom. The beauty, the mystery of the divine feminine, which is yet to be released. Information, different activations, supported by star families who have shared their wisdom with the Egyptians through the mystery schools there. Join us in this energetic and you will be touched. You will evolve. You will start to understand the mystery not just of Egypt, but the mystery of humanity. Why you are here, what is occurring, and what is about to happen.
Okay, so hello and welcome to Cairo.
Wow, this has been quite an adventure. We're here in the Mena Hotel, and you can probably see behind us two of the pyramids. We had a really incredible place that we were staying in up until today with an amazing view of a whole long line of the pyramids. Unfortunately, the internet was really bad, so we're last minute hurrying over. We've got a room here, and here we are in Cairo with the Stargate, with the pyramids.
And so this is the Stargate's very first trip to Egypt. This is Praneet's first time here. It's my first time here. And we've been here for 2 nights already. And for me, there's like nothing like actually seeing the pyramids for the first time. And it feels a bit like, for those of you who know the Stargate already, like the Stargate is plugged into the wall socket and it's on all the time.
The energy here is really tangible. It was actually quite a surprise to feel the incredible vibration coming from the pyramids. I didn't expect it. And it was just so heart-opening.
Yeah, so these are definitely Stargates. And we're going to be here doing an 11-day tour all around Egypt. But we're starting with these 3 free live streams to explore various topics. And our topic for today is all about the connection between Atlantis and this highly advanced, lost knowledge of humanity and Egypt. And these pyramids and all of the mysteries that this land and the sacred sites represent.
Alexander was talking a while ago, and he said the Atlantean civilization, when Atlantis went down, the wisdom from Atlantis moved into several different places. Some of it went up to England and was given to the Druids. Some of it came here. Some of it went to the Americas. So here we are, the beginning of a long tour, which we are going to share online as we can.
Yeah, and so for anybody who's totally new and you've never done a Stargate meditation before, we'll explain just a tiny bit about what you're going to experience in this live stream. So we have with us from Portal to Ascension, Neil Gaur, who's going to be doing a presentation about his research linking Atlantis to Egypt. So we're really excited to hear about that. And then we're going to do a meditation experience. When the Stargate is activated, it lights up a quantum energy field that people feel all over the world. And so everything that Neil is going to talk about, we're going to be bringing in the actual energetic transmission in the meditation.
So it's really something to look forward to.
So we are going to hand it over to Neil if he's ready. Cool.
So, as I'm loving to say lately, is Atlantis is calling its people home. There are more experiences and more people coming to Atlantis than ever before. There's so much tourism has picked up, and every person that we know that has a connection here and can facilitate are bringing groups here, and they're all completely full tours. And so, what we're going to do today in this first presentation, and it's perfect to do a foundation of this, is talk about the antiquity of Atlantis. Being here for the last 2 weeks, I already knew Atlantis. And I already knew Egypt had a vast history and it was an extremely old civilization. But there's some information that I've just acquired over the last couple of weeks that has taken my understanding and awareness of this ancient land beyond anything that I even thought beforehand. So this presentation that I'm going to show you just a few slides in was originally called From Atlantis to Morocco. Because it is important to note that the whole of the Sahara Desert at one point around 13,000 years ago was a lush green oasis. Okay. When we're dating some of these structures in Egypt now, much of the datings and geological studies goes back to around 11,000 to 12,000 years ago, which was at the end of what we call the Younger Dryas period. And I'm going to show you that on a slide in a little bit. And the Younger Dryas period was at the end of the last ice age. During this time, it's conventionally accepted that the whole of the Sahara Desert was a lush green oasis. So if we date Egypt back to this time, we can expect it not to be in a dried out desert, and Egypt is actually known as the driest place on earth. Not a dried out desert, but a beautiful area with greenery and abundance, right? But the thing is, we've been told that the antiquity of Atlantis, pre-dynastic to dynastic, goes back to around 3,000 to 6,000 BCE, which I'm going to hopefully show you some information here today. Well, I'm definitely going to show you some information that shifts that perspective to something that could be even further.
You mean the antiquity of Egypt, right?
The antiquity of Egypt, yes. So, and how that connects to Atlantis. So first, let me just speak about why I even created this presentation, my journey to Atlantis. Ever since I woke up to the true world history of humanity, I had a fascination with Atlantis. It was one of the first elements when I woke up to all this content and information. It was one of the first elements that I became aware of because I was looking at the evolution of consciousness, the fact that we go through these cycles and we also go through what we call the ascension, which is an evolution of consciousness. And as I was looking at that, I saw that there was great civilizations that existed in the past that could have been at a level of technological advancement or just to say a consciousness advancement that there was something that occurred that eventually led to a fall from grace, if you will, into a devoluted consciousness, which is what we're at now and what we're currently recovering from, which is the ascension. So it was one of the first things that I came across. And I went deep into researching the civilization. I had some questions, right? These are the questions that came to me around 2001, 2002. I was realizing that humans have been on Earth much longer than we have been told, right? And a great way that I got into this information was looking at the Sumerian scriptures. And very soon I started finding information on that most of the Bibles and spiritual texts in the world had pulled from, speaking about some sort of hybridization program that happened on Earth, and that these divine beings came down to Earth around 200 to 300,000 years ago, and they did something to the natively evolving population on Earth, evolving us to the next level of consciousness. However, we can see that if we look back at our ancient history and the oldest Homo sapien that was ever found on the planet, what science tends to do is when they find something that is the oldest, they tend to say that this is the oldest and therefore there is nothing before it. And that's what happened with Homo sapiens sapien. We found a skeleton in Morocco, which happens to be a presentation that I'm doing today, around 250,000 years ago. It was old. So that made people believe that, okay, so Homo sapiens sapien must be around 250,000 years old. However, there's a lot of evidence coming out, and one of the individuals that I've worked with that has this information, called Michael Cremo, has a book called Vibrating Archaeology that shows evidence of species just like us living for dating back over 1 million years on Earth. So the realization was we've been on Earth for much longer than we've been told. And as I'm going to show in a couple slides here, we go through cycles of time. We go through evolutions and devolutions, and it seems that these cycles last about 26,000 years. 13,000 years of ascending, 13,000 years of descending. So there's devolution, evolution going on. And the question I had was, could our consciousness be connected to these advanced civilizations? So if these civilizations were at a greater level of technology, was their consciousness at that level of technology as well? And is it possible that we can recognize their technology as technology that we have today because of the fact that they were utilizing it on a spiritual level that we can't really understand? And was there a time when humanity could communicate and interact with the stars and beings from other worlds? That was another question. Okay. So, and the last question really was, does time as we know it on Earth evolve linearly, meaning we go from primitive to evolved, or could it be cyclical? And since we only have a certain amount of time on this Earth, we only view it as linearly progressing, but we could have had more advancements in the ancient past. So when I started looking into that, I found something called the Yuga cycles. And many of you tuning in, if you've heard of ascension, the evolution of consciousness, or even the golden age, this is really where this information comes from. Almost every civilization in the world, which I say pre-Diluvian civilization, which is any culture or religion that has stories that go back before the last great flood, around 13,000 years ago, at the end of the last ice age, all these civilizations seem to talk about ages of humankind, ages of man. When you go to the Greek civilization, you have a poet in Greece who talks about the type of man that existed in each of these civilizations, right? What kind of person existed in the Golden Age? What kind of a person existed in the Silver Age, Bronze Age, the Dark Ages, and so on. But there's only one place in the world that actually still had the calendar with dates, and that was India. So what you're looking at here is the Yuga cycles. And I wanted to show you this and the dates because we're going to connect it to some of ancient Egypt and when some of these structures were around. And you can see here, this calendar is just divided into 4 ages. We have the Satya Yuga, which is the Golden Age. We have the Treta Yuga, which is the Silver Age. The Dwarpa is the Bronze Age. And the Kali Yuga, which many of you might have heard of, is the Kali Age. Each age, right, just to go a bit into explaining this for a moment, each age that is higher than the other age is twice as long as the age before it. Dwarpa is twice the size of Kali, Treta twice the size of Dwarpa, and in each age, the life expectancy of humanity doubles. Kali Yuga, 120 years, Dwarpa Yuga, 240, and so on up until the Golden Age. Now, if we look back at this calendar here and we look at the end of the last ice age, which is what a lot of people, including Plato, if you look at Plato's description of Atlantis, says was the ending of Atlantis, the fall of Atlantis. So if we go back around 11,500 BCE, which was the end of the Younger Dryas period, the end of the last ice age, something occurred on the planet to create a flash flood. And now we have the flood of Noah. And I'm going to show you some flood stories in just a moment. We have the flood of Noah around this time. And as this happened, you can see on the calendar, we're at the top of the last golden age, about to go through a descending cycle. So technically, at the fall of Atlantis, if we look at the dating that most people within the spiritual community really speak about when they talk about when Atlantis fell, we see that as the beginning of the falling, descending golden age. However, we were still in a golden age. So from my research and some of what you're going to see over the next 11 days, you'll see that a lot of these structures date back to the end of the last ice age, the end of the falling of Atlantis, and the beginning of a new civilization. So 2 questions here. Was Egypt a colony of Atlantis as Atlantis fell? Or was Egypt Atlantis? And did Egypt date back even further than 11,500 BCE and was actually an extension of Atlantis that could be a global civilization? And in the last 2 weeks, I'm leaning towards the second one, the latter, that Egypt could have actually been a part of Atlantis and going back way beyond just 13,000 years. In the cycles of time, just to kind of show you how different civilizations speak about this, the cycles, we have it across the board, with many, many civilizations. We have the Mayan, long count calendar speaks about this, the precession of the equinoxes, the Aztec sunstone, the Hopi prophecy, and they all seem to have the same dates when it comes to the 26,000 year cycle. And Plato himself, who is the guy that we get most of the information from for Atlantis, that his uncle Solon came to Egypt and then reiterated the story to Plato, he himself also came up with this understanding, and he called it the Great Year. The Great Year for Plato is called the Platonic Year, and it's a cycle of approximately 25,920 years, and is believed to the time it takes for the Earth's axis to complete a full rotation, and it encompasses different cosmic and historical ages. So here's some questions for you, and maybe these are some things, if you join us on the live stream, that you can really keep in your mind as we're exploring here. Does the short lifespan we have on Earth limit us to only being able to perceive time linearly, since we do not remember our past accomplishments? And how many cycles have we gone through? Okay, if we're going through 26,000 year cycles, 26,000 years ago, we were at the same level of consciousness as we are now, right? A little different, of course, but we're going through evolutions, higher frequencies, lower frequencies, if that's how you want to explain it. And if we can only barely see evidence of Atlantis now, right? Imagine what civilization existed 26,000 years before that, 26,000 years before that. How far back does this go, and how many evolved civilizations have we had that completely were wiped up from the planet? So here's the question of them all. Did the Earth reset after a great flood, wiping out so many advancements that the stories of the ancient world went from reality to a myth? Did we experience a collective trauma in the form of a flood, and was that connected to the formation of Egypt? And my personal opinion is yes. And I'm going to show you just a couple of slides here. I'm not going to go into details in this because I want to go back to North Africa. But just to show you, here are some flood stories, right? We have so many flood stories around the world. If you look back at this, I recommend you looking back at this. Stop this, take a moment to read all of these. And I'll just say Mesopotamia, of course. And I will read this one because this is Egypt. Inscriptions found in Edfu Temple, which is where we're going to go, guys. We're going to be in Edfu Temple very soon. Depict the story of a great flood where the god Ra sends destruction upon humanity. The flood waters eventually recede, allowing life to flourish once again. We have the same thing in Persia, ancient Israel, the Mayans, Babylonia, Australia, this collective flood story. And if that's not enough, here's 36 more flood stories that I've just wrote here, just to show you how it's completely across the board. And when you look at some of these that allude to the dates, they all seem to allude to the same time, around 11,500 to 9,600 BCE. There was multiple cataclysms that happened on the planet, causing 2 floods at different times, all around the time that we're dating back the structures in Egypt. And this period of time was called the Younger Dryas period. It was a climatic event that occurred approximately 2,900 to 11,700 years ago during the final stages of the last ice age. At this time, the whole of the North Hemisphere and the Southern Hemisphere of Earth was pretty much frozen over. The best place to live on Earth was a lush green oasis that wrapped a few hundred miles probably in each direction, if not a little more, around the equator, which included the Sahara Desert, which taps in to Egypt. So Egypt, have you ever wondered, well, I've wondered this, if Egypt was such a great civilization, why don't we have any evidence of it creating an empire around the entire world? We have the Greek Empire, the Persian Empire, we have all these civilizations, the Roman Empire. Egypt lasted that whole time, and all we see is Egypt. Well, first of all, as I said before, I feel Egypt was connected to Atlantis, which was global, but the whole of the Sahara Desert, my theory, and other people also believing in this too, the whole of the Sahara Desert spanned the civilization of Egypt. The least excavated place in the entire planet is the Sahara Desert. The reasons why they give us that is because back when the Sahara Desert was conventionally accepted to be a green oasis, we were primitive. Therefore, why put the resources on exploring this area when we already know there was no advancements in humanity, only basic primitive humans? That's the reason they've given us. Now, with other presentations I do, we can see that even though they tell us that, that's not actually the case. They are exploring it. They're just not letting us know what they're finding. So in order to talk about Atlantis, guys, we need to really speak about Plato. According to the accounts given by the ancient Greek philosopher Plato, who first mentioned Atlantis in his dialogues, Atlantis was said to have existed 9,000 years before his own time. Plato described Atlantis as an advanced civilization that existed beyond the Pillars of Hercules, commonly associated with the Straits of Gibraltar. And here is an image for you of that area. So this area actually exists. We have the Pillars of Hercules, you can see here, and the Gates of Gibraltar. Gibraltar is an actual place in Spain, and on the other side of the Pillars of Hercules is a place called Tangier in Morocco. So this is the area that Plato was saying Atlantis was. Again, it was most likely a global civilization. However, Atlantis was the capital city of this global civilization, so it could have been located there. Now, it could have actually also been located in mainland Africa because the water, the Atlantic Ocean, actually went in towards Morocco into the Sahara Desert. So there could have been an island in Morocco that could have been Atlantis as well, because technically that was also part of the ocean. The ancient Egyptians, when I was looking at any story in Egypt about Atlantis, right, I was looking to see, it was like one of those things where you want to find it so bad that you're just trying to figure it out and see what will connect, right? So I was looking for any stories in Egypt about Atlantis. First of all, Atlantis was a name given by the Greeks, not the Egyptians, right? Who knows what the name actually was? And when I was looking for this, I couldn't find any information except for the inscription in Edfu. But then I looked at the origin story of Egypt, okay? And here's the origin story. The Egyptians believed that the world, their world, began with the emergence of land from the watery chaos, and that their civilization was established as a result of divine order and the efforts of gods and goddesses. Mainstream scholars believe that this does not relate to Atlantis, but I feel the fact that it's talking about emerging out of a chaotic flood actually alludes to it coming from another civilization. So this right here, I'm going to just kind of skim over this really quick because I want to get to some other stuff before we close out here. The Sahara Desert, here is just some information on the Sahara Desert and the fact that what it looked like around this time, 12,900 BCE. Again, take a look later if you want to stop this and see exactly what it looks like, but I'll just give you one example. Lakes, rivers, abundant vegetation, grasslands, wetlands, patches of forests. It would be a perfect place to live. As I was exploring Morocco and I was going through the civilization here, so what I did was I wanted to find out if there was any evidence, because if we have Atlantis, right, and the Atlanteans and the civilization is falling, and like Pragit had just said earlier, that they went into the Druidic land, the elemental lands went north, we had an exodus into North Africa. So if we had these beings come into North Africa and make their way to Egypt, it only makes sense that there would be some traces of them from all the way from Morocco to Algeria, all the way to Egypt, right? So as I was exploring Morocco, and I went to Morocco on the search for evidence of Atlantis, I started discovering a few anomalies, and I'm just going to speak about those to close out for this presentation. The first thing I found were the Berbers, the Berber people. They have their own flood story in folklore and oral traditions. It recounts a great deluge that covered the land, Morocco area, leading to widespread destruction and the need for survival. The details of the story often include a divine or supernatural intervention, such as the displeasure of a deity or the actions of a hero or spiritual figure. And who is this hero that they talk about? His name is Hercules. Right? The hero from Greece also was the hero of the Berber tribes in North Africa, in Morocco. And you can see his other name there that the Berbers call him. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to butcher it, but you can see it right down there. So as I was exploring, I found a place in Morocco at the Gates of Gibraltar, right in Tangier, right where the entrance of the entrance to seeing Atlantis would be, called the Hercules Grotto. And these caves have been believed to have formed naturally over thousands of years and associated with Hercules. And the story goes that there was a great flood, and the giants of a great civilization went into these caves to hide from the floods before they emerged out. Another connection that I felt to Atlantis. So this is in Morocco, an Islamic country. When I went there to visit, there was pretty much only Islamic tourists there. And I was seeing all this evidence of giants, all this evidence of the connection to Atlantis. And it was very interesting to me that a lot of people who actually went there didn't even know who Hercules was or the story. They just went there because of how beautiful that their area looked. So that was one of the dots that was being connected. And here's, you can see just a couple of pictures of how the grotto looks. And this last part here that I want to talk about and how this connects to Atlantis, the King Atlas, who was the king of Atlantis, the fall from grace, right? So we have the 13,000 years ago, we have something that occurred that humanity fell from grace. The biblical term fall from grace. That comes out repeatedly in ancient history conversations, especially when it comes to advanced ancient civilizations and extraterrestrial life. Humans were at an evolved state of consciousness. We fell from grace. The last time we fell from grace was about 13,000 years ago. And it seems that maybe the Earth's axis was a little straighter, if not completely straight at that point, and something that occurred that physically made the Earth fall from grace, okay, into the 23.5 degree angle that we currently have. In North Africa, expanding across most of North Africa from Morocco, we have something called the Atlas Mountains, right? So first of all, the synchronicity is that this is the area that the Atlanteans would have escaped to. The mountain range is literally named after the king of Atlantis. And the story of this mountain range, as you can see here, is that King Atlas escaped from a great flood and petrified into a mountain. That some king from some civilization left as giant. He was a giant. And as he escaped, he was petrified and became the mountain range. And the story of the ancients there is the mountain range is actually the petrified stone body of King Atlas. So all of these things, all these synchronicities were coming about and just showing that there is a connection to Atlantis, Egypt, and North Africa. So the interesting part is that the Atlas Mountains is actually the mountain range that holds the North African continent and the European continent together. So how synchronistic is it and metaphoric is it even that the actual mountain range, the Atlas Mountains, is literally holding the earth together, which is the metaphor for the fall from grace after Atlantis. And King Atlas, who is Atlas? Atlas is this person right here in this image that we see so many times throughout our life, which is the actual person holding up the globe when the globe fell from grace, which was a metaphor of us falling from a greater civilization to this one now. So it was interesting to see that there was an actual physical representation in North Africa of the actual story of Atlantis, of King Atlas leaving Atlantis. So I feel that I have just 1 minute left. So I'm just going to end with this here really quick. We're going to be at the Pyramid of Luxor, because let's go into the Antiquity real quick. So one of the places that we're going to be visiting is actually going to be the Luxor Temple, and you guys will see some video footage of that. There's now evidence to show that the history of Egypt goes back to around 2.5 million years ago. And Muhammad, he'll be presenting on that as well, where we see evidence of flint tools and then a disappearance of flint tools for 50 to 100,000 years and the reappearance of it as well. And Muhammad's going to show in his presentation how this was because there was a fall from grace and an evolution, that Egypt has had devolutions and evolutions so many times in our ancient past that some of these structures date back to even further than we think, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. He even believes that the Luxor Temple could go back 200,000 years, the Luxor Temple. And on the inscription on the Luxor Temple is hieroglyphs of cloning process. 200,000 years ago, 250,000 years ago, there was an evolutionary jump in the DNA of humans. How does it connect to this temple? So we're going to be exploring a lot of this stuff, guys. I'm really excited to be here with Stargate. And I'll be tuning in with you guys again tomorrow, and we'll be going over the divine feminine information. And as we're exploring Egypt, we're going to continue looking at what the possibility is for the dating of these structures, and really having a great time, not only emanating the frequency from these sites, but also exploring what was actually going on here and what activations we can receive for these to create a more enlightened future. So thank you for tuning in with me. Let's go ahead and pass it back to Prageet and Jules.
Thank you so much, Neil, for so much information. It's a lot to take in, and I think it's a great idea, if you do have time, to look at some of those slides that Neil brought up and go into it deeper if that's something that really interests you. The thought of the temple being so old is absolutely fascinating. So this is just the first of these free live streams, and tomorrow we're going to have another fascinating talk, which is about the divine feminine and how that connects into the whole Egyptian story. And then the third one is about the space realms. How do they fit in to all this? And just being able to connect in on this third live stream, we have Vivienne Chauvet, who is a very amazing person. And when I first met her and heard that she's an Arcturan hybrid, I thought, what the heck is that? I thought, oh, it's another one of these woo-woo claims. But when I met her and felt her energy, it's absolutely amazing. Vivienne has a team of Arcturans constantly with her, and the presence of their energy is absolutely amazing. So that's the third day.
And tomorrow, Alan Steinfeld is going to be talking about the divine feminine and how some of the guides that we're more familiar with, like Thoth, have actually been in the ancient past. The divine feminine counterpart, Sheshet, has actually been the one teaching Thoth everything he knew. And so I'm really excited for that presentation also.
It's the divine feminine always teaches the male. We just don't always like to admit it.
Yeah, and also these are universal principles. So the divine feminine, to me, it represents an embodiment into the cosmic mystery. And so this is the next part of these live streams, is we want to explore that entry point into the cosmic mystery. So we're going to invite all of you who are watching to actually, in a few moments, close your eyes, relax completely, and if you can, devote your full focus to this meditation. It can actually transport you into a higher state of consciousness where subtle energy becomes tangible and you can go on a journey.
There's going to be thousands of people that have worked with the Stargate happening, joining us, creating the energetic field together. But for those of you that are new to the Stargate, we'd just like to give you a brief explanation of what this meditation is about. So we have here a smaller version of the Stargate, and it's a sacred geometrical structure. And this structure actually anchors a higher dimensional consciousness. Now that might seem a little strange, but Alcazar, who gave us the Stargate and has been our guides for more than 30 years, Alcazar says it's very similar to our physical bodies. Our physical bodies are anchor for a higher dimensional consciousness, you. So even though this is a very strange shape for us, over the years we've found that this incredible device actually relates to us individually. Even if we're all meditating together, the energetics are designed and aligned to each one of us. So in the meditation, there's a few simple things to understand. The first thing is that as we guide the meditation, Alcazar will come through and actually take the lead in guiding the experience. There are a few things that we ask you as a participant to ask for when it's guided. For example, the first thing that Alcazar will be asking us is to bring the energy of the earth up into our bodies, up into our energy fields. And that's just asking inside. There's no need to ask out loud, just the intention and just allowing for the possibility. Apart from that, there's nothing to do. It's important, if you wish to have a full experience, to close your eyes and keep the eyes closed throughout the meditation. Okay, so be comfortable and relaxed.
And we're going to turn our camera off so that we don't distract you. So we'll do that, and we're going to move into the meditation.
So, close the eyes, relax, be comfortable, and remember, nothing to do, nothing to do. And so, if you're all beautifully comfortable, first of all, just inviting your body to relax a little more. Beloved ones, we greet thee, 'tis Alcazar. And it is, as always, a great honor for us to be with you. It is indeed a special moment in the journey of the Stargate here on Earth to come to this, your Egypt, and to these, the pyramids. It has been more than 30 of your years that Pragit has been asking again and again, shall we go to Egypt? Shall we go to Egypt? And we have always said, wait. The moment is now. Why? This is a special time for humanity and for the earth. It is a time of chaos, and as your saying goes, out of chaos, stars are born. Out of the chaos of these years, and perhaps the years to come, there is going to be an amazing awakening happening on your planet. It has already started, although it is not so obvious. So, beloved ones, here we are in this sacred space, this sacred land. And so we are going to ask each one of you now, just to ask inside, with your intention, with your thoughts, for the energy of the earth, the energy of Gaia, to come up into your body, into your energy field, to ground you, to help you be present in the body as we go through this meditation.
And so simply the asking inside is all that is needed. We are calling for the energy of the earth, the energy of Gaia, to come up into our bodies, into our energy fields.
And just allowing for the possibility that Gaia, the consciousness of the earth, can and is responding to your asking. Do not be worried if you do not feel the energy yet. It will get stronger throughout the meditation. And as we have said, the Stargate is a conscious energy. And so we are asking you to invite this energy that we call the etheric Stargate, or the consciousness of the Stargate, to come to you. So we're going to ask you to ask for and imagine a Stargate forming around you.
And so we are calling for the presence of an etheric Stargate
and just visualizing, just imagining. If you do not know what the Stargate looks like, simply imagine yourself inside a pyramid. For the consciousness of the Stargate will understand that which you are asking for. And so now we are going to vibrate your etheric Stargate for you. And as we do so, we are going to vibrate faster and faster. And what will be occurring is that the energy of the etheric Stargates will start to transform the energies around you up through the dimensional frequencies. So simply relaxing, and we start this process now. So as we vibrate all the etheric Stargates faster and faster, the energy around us starts to move from the third dimension through the fourth into the frequency ranges of the fifth dimension, up into the sixth, and now merging into that which you would call the seventh dimensional energetics. And here we pause the frequencies, the vibrations, for a moment.
And so all the Stargates around the world are vibrating now at this seventh dimensional frequency. And we ask each one of you to ask inside for a strong seventh dimensional energy field in your etheric Stargate.
We call for a strong seventh dimensional energy field in all the Stargates. And what will start to happen is your etheric Stargate will begin to radiate a gentle, higher frequency to you, around you. And it will actually vibrate your own energy field a little faster. And after a few moments, your energy will gently rise and come into harmony with the seventh dimensional energies around you. It happens quite naturally, nothing to do. Just being relaxed, and these higher frequencies gently elevate your own energetic. It is this simple, it is this easy, nothing to do. Very good. Very good.
And so now we will continue to vibrate all the Stargates faster and faster. And as we do so, right now we are moving up into your eighth dimensional frequencies and continuing to accelerate through the ninth dimension now into your 10th dimensional frequency ranges and vibrating quite rapidly now as we are moving and merging through your 11th dimension into the 12th. And again, we bring all the Stargates to a pause at this 12th dimensional frequency.
And so we are asking each one of you now again, just to ask inside with intention for your etheric Stargate to radiate a 12th dimensional energy field to you.
And so we are calling for a strong 12th dimensional energy field in all the Stargates.
And as you ask, again, just relax, nothing to do. As you are surrounded by these 12th dimensional energetics, again, slowly, slowly, effortlessly, your own energy will gently be elevated until you are vibrating once more in harmony with the energies around you. Nothing to do, just being relaxed. Very good. Very good. Part of the magic of this experience is that as you start to vibrate at these higher frequencies, you become more sensitive to the many guides and benevolent beings who are here to assist humanity in its awakening. And we are here in this land of Egypt almost at the base of this vast pyramid. And there are many sacred energies connected to this structure. But first we are going to invite those whom you are familiar with, the angelic realm. So we ask each one of you just to ask inside for the presence and support of the angels.
And so we are calling for the presence of the angelic realm.
And just feel, as you ask, just feel now, as the angels gently bring their loving energy of support into this global meditation. Just feel the energy gently changing around you as the angels bring their loving energy to each and every one of us, just relaxing into their presence. Yes, very good. The master who is associated with this pyramid and the ancient ceremonies that have been guided there wants to be acknowledged right now and to be with us in this meditation. He is the one known as Yeshua, or Jesus, who traveled here on more than one occasion to be initiated through the Egyptian understandings, the Egyptian miracles of awakening. And so we ask each one of you to ask inside for the presence of this one, Jesus, Yeshua, or as some of you know him now as Sananda.
And so we are calling for the presence of Jesus the Nazarene.
And again, just feel, here he comes. Can you feel a gentle shift as the Master of Love brings his energy into this global meditation, bringing his energy to you? In the days to come, we will be meditating within the King's Chamber, the place where this one Yeshua lay in the sarcophagus to receive energy from the stars. We will be creating a meditation there. He will be present with us once more. And we are inviting you to join us for that experience also. So right now, just asking inside for Jesus, Yeshua, to come closer. Come closer. Very good. Yes, indeed. And so, beloved ones, we would like also to call for the presence of the Master Buddha from this, your country of India, who also holds an incredible enlightened presence.
And so we ask each one of you now to ask inside. We are calling for the presence of Gautama the Buddha.
And feel, Buddha, here he comes, gently bringing his energy into this space. Yeah. Very good. Very good. His energy joining the angels and Yeshua, beginning a beautiful field of oneness around each one of us, in this meditation.
And beloved ones, there are so many enlightened energies that have visited your earth. Some of these in the form of human beings who have become enlightened. Some of these in the form of divine entities. There's the one known as the goddess Isis, known for her roles in the mystery schools here. In ancient times, her energy initiated thousands into a kind of remembrance from the stars. And so she is wishing to bring her presence here in a very strong way. And we ask each one of you to simply ask inside for the presence of Isis.
We call for the presence of the goddess Isis. And again, as you invite, feel her presence gently coming into this meditation, joining each and every one of us in this global meditation. And you can ask her to come closer to you. Come closer. Come closer. Another master, this time from your country of Greece. The Greek civilization also very connected to the Atlantean knowledge. And so we are now going to ask you to call forth the master Socrates.
And so we are calling for the presence of Socrates.
And asking with intention and feeling Socrates' energy coming to join us into this global meditation. Coming closer, coming closer. These masters hold the vibration of enlightenment, but much more. They carry a deep wisdom which can be shared energetically for each one of us who is open to the possibility that their loving energy can transmit to each one of us a reminder of that which we have already known from our own ancient past. There is nothing to do except allowing for the possibility that right now and throughout this meditation, the energies of these masters are vibrating you. We have often talked about your higher dimensional DNA. In this non-physical DNA that is connected to your physical DNA, the information and experiences of your many past lives are held there in this higher dimensional DNA. The energy of these masters, this enlightened energy, is vibrating your higher dimensional DNA, triggering the process for some of you of a gentle remembering. This is not something that you can make happen. It will just simply start to come to you at the appropriate time. Very good. Another master wishing to join us, and she is known for her compassion. She comes regularly to the Stargate For compassion is needed so much here on our earth at this time.
She is the one known as Kuan Yin. And so we ask each one of you to simply ask inside.
We call for the presence of the Master Kuan Yin. And feel, here she comes, gently bringing her loving energy into this meditation, coming closer and closer. Yeah.
Very good. And so, beloved ones, you are being vibrated with an enlightened energy field right now. You are being gently connected to the energy here in this land as these two are sat, as you have seen, in front of the great pyramids of Giza. And so we are going to invite you right now to call for the energy presence of these pyramids themselves.
And so we ask each one of you to ask with a strong intention for the energy, the power, and the presence of these pyramids to bring their energy right now into this global meditation, and just feel as their energy permeates the energetic field inside your etheric stargate, supported by these masters and the angels, just allowing yourself to receive the energetic from these miraculous structures that we will be exploring over the next few days together. Just relaxing into the energy fields that surround you now.
Beloved ones, there are so many mysteries here yet to be explored. And yet the mystery we are inviting you into is the true essence of these sacred sites. For they indeed are stargates, are interdimensional doorways, and more. There are energetic, multidimensional layerings to these places. And what you are experiencing right now is the mystery of these pyramid structures.
We will be inviting you to join us as we enter into the King's Chamber. Not once, but 4 times over this journey together through these ancient lands. You can join us. You can feel the energetics that will be transmitted from this amazing structure. And we will be there with representatives from the star families who will be bringing their energy into the Great Pyramid, into our meditations. And there is going to be a realignment of the whole energetic of this continent through the work of our friend Vivian. And so, beloveds, there is much to look forward to. Right now, there is one other master who comes very regularly to the Stargate. She is the one we call the Blessed Mother, Mary or Maria, mother of this one, Yeshua. She brings her particular flavor of the divine feminine into this meditation. And so we ask each one of you now, just ask inside for the loving presence of Mary or Maria, the Blessed Mother.
And so we call for the presence of the Blessed Mother.
And feel, here she comes, bringing her love of humanity, bringing her love to you, feeling and allowing as you are being embraced by the subtle presence of this vast pyramid and the masters who are holding an energy field for us all with the angelic realm.
And beloveds, we would suggest that many of your sites in ancient Egypt are encoded not only with Atlantean knowledge, but with galactic wisdom, knowledge, understanding. Understand where humanity is headed is into a reawakening of your higher dimensional DNA. And within you, there is also this cosmic knowingness from the stars. For all of your civilizations that are advanced from the stars are represented here on this your earth. You are the living library. And as humanity reawakens, there will be a blossoming forth. There will be a creation of something so totally new that the whole universe is watching and waiting to see what will occur here. In your times of Atlantis, the human beings there could remember their ancient origins in the stars. You had to forget in order to be reborn into a higher consciousness that would be fresh. Otherwise, you would have simply recreated your particular wisdoms and understandings from your origins in the stars. And so in this meditation, we would like to invite you to call upon the living energy of Atlantis itself, not the imbalanced phase, but the golden age, the age where there was harmony, where there was this remembrance of who you truly are. Here on the earth, the portal to the stars was open. And so we are going to ask each one of you now just to invite the presence of Atlantis and the enlightened Atlanteans.
We call for the enlightened energetics that were present in the golden age of Atlantis. And again, just a gentle energy coming into this global meditation. Beloved ones, humanity is in the process of going through major changes. It is a little obvious out in your world, but there is so much more occurring that is unseen by most. The Stargate was given to humanity more than 30 of your years ago to support this evolution into the new year. As we gather energies from this, your Egypt, and we move in a few short weeks to the country of Greece, the island of Kars, the Stargate, and all those who are gathered there, both physically and present online, will be creating a vast energy field. This energetic field will create a shift in the timeline of humanity's evolution, humanity's consciousness. And so we invite you, if this resonates with you, to be with us as we travel these lands of Egypt, to prepare energetically for that which is about to occur for humanity as a whole. And so now we invite you to turn your focus inward, just to notice your own energy. Notice the subtle vibration that is occurring within. Just feeling and acknowledging, yes, I can feel this. And so now, just very, very slowly, without rushing, bring your awareness fully into your body. Okay, so
Welcome back.
welcome back. I'm just checking out soon. They bring these beautiful spotlights onto the pyramid, but not quite yet. It's not quite dark enough here.
So thanks for spending the sunset time with us here in Cairo. We will see you tomorrow for the next live stream, exploring the living essence of the divine feminine in Egypt and beyond.